If you're a prepper, you've probably heard the term OPSEC or operational security at least like a million times. We all know that we should keep a low profile, especially when it comes to our preps. But what if you were in a situation where normal OPSEC just wasn't good enough? What if you had people actively trying to hunt you down? Like maybe you were in a relationship with some loser who turned out to be like completely psycho, or maybe you or a loved one saw something you shouldn't have, and now you have some fun organized crime group on your tail, and the local popo are of no help at all. In those situations, you might need to go totally off grid. Not in the sense where you don't have electricity anymore, but you need to become a ghost and disappear from as many aspects of modern life as humanly possible. So, today we're going to talk about strategies that a normal person could use to vanish without a trace. The first thing you have to understand about all of this is that it isn't some fun new hipster lifestyle to try out. If you had to end up doing this, there's a lot of aspects of your life that would be completely awful. You wouldn't have any contact with family or friends, and pretty much every creature, comfort, or hobby that you enjoy would become a massive liability. You'd be starting over with basically nothing, including your career. Then another thing to keep in mind is that at least someone will need to know that you're leaving and that you don't want to be found. Otherwise, law enforcement will consider you a missing person and may try to find you. And if they do manage to find you, then the bad guys will shortly thereafter. Then also, none of what we'll talk about today is really all that useful if you're evading law enforcement. They have access to a ton of information, and to evade them, you'd have to do some pretty illegal stuff yourself. So we're not trying to turn into some sort of spy or operator or any nonsense like that. The main goal is to become harder to find than what it's worth for somebody to keep looking for you. And one thing that you'll want to do before you even leave is take steps to erase your digital footprint. Probably the easiest thing that any of us can do is just close out all of our social media profiles. That includes Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and pretty much anything else that you can think of. All it would take is one selfie with like a street sign in the background for somebody with a brain and a functioning computer to figure out where you are. Another thing you'll want to do is delete as much of your online personal information as you can. And no, this isn't an ad for one of those online services, but a 5-second Google search really can show somebody your current address, phone number, email addresses, and the names of your family members. You'll want to contact each one of those websites and tell them to remove your stuff from their site. And this could take a while because there are tons of them out there. Also, think about the stuff that most people will totally forget about. Things like old accounts, forums that you joined like 10 or 15 years ago, and then also the random fitness app that you haven't used in 6 months that's still trying to get you to log what you ate for lunch. Then there's the ones that'll hurt, like your Amazon stuff, Google, and your Apple ID or Android account. All of those tie right back to you. If you really want to drop off the grid, you're going to need to delete all of your email accounts, stop using your phone number, and get rid of your current cell phone. You're not going to be able to log into anything tied to your old life ever again, at least until whatever you're trying to get away from isn't an issue anymore. And when it comes to your phone specifically, one of the most dangerous features that it has on it is location tracking. All cell phones, regardless of how simple or smart they are, can be tracked by pinging cell towers, but smartphones are a lot worse since they can be located using other methods like nearby Wi-Fi networks and GPS. If whoever you're running from has access to your accounts or data, all that can be used to give them a very detailed picture of your movements. The best option really is to not have a cell phone at all, and also don't use the internet. But if you absolutely have to have a phone though, a prepaid dumb phone that you can use cash to pay for more minutes with is probably the way to go. Even with that though, use it sparingly, keep it turned off when you're not using it, and don't use it to contact anybody back home. But if you do decide to drop off the face of the planet, you're also going to have to figure out transportation. If you have a car right now, that would be a huge vulnerability in that particular situation. First, if somebody is after you, they're definitely going to take the time to figure out what you drive. Then second, there are several ways that personal vehicles can be tracked. Modern vehicles have built-in GPS systems, and if you're making payments on your car, there may also be a separate tracker somewhere inside of it just in case the dealership or bank needs to repo it. Then if you end up getting pulled over, you're in an even worse situation because traffic stops end up in your motor vehicle record. Now, those are supposed to only be accessible to folks like employers and insurers, but if someone's crazy enough to be stalking you or is already like a career criminal, then they're not going to give a rat's rear end about breaking the law to access it. That's not even taking into account that there are cameras and license plate readers pretty much everywhere now, and with all that new technology that's spreading across the country, things are only going to get worse with that. So, to deal with all that mess, you're going to need to change how you travel. For longer distance trips, like when you're relocating, a bus would probably be your best option. While you will need an ID to buy a ticket, there's usually less security when you're buying bus tickets and also during the actual boarding process. If the cops are looking for you, then they can find you, but it wouldn't be as easy for somebody else. Then, once you reach your destination, use public transportation or get yourself a bicycle. If you absolutely have to have a car for one reason or another, get rid of the one that you have now and get something made before they started putting computers into absolutely everything. Something produced in like 1998 or earlier wouldn't even have Bluetooth unless, of course, it was added along the way by somebody between then and now. Just keep it under the speed limit, don't run any traffic lights, and try not to let anybody ram into you. Another thing you'll want to think about when you reach your new location is predictability. People are creatures of habit and tend to like to travel the same routes at the same time each day, and that makes it a lot easier for somebody to find you or track you down. So do what you can to mix things up. Don't take the same route getting to and from places, and whenever possible, don't leave at the same time each day. Also, avoid using the same gas station or going to the same fast food places all the stinking time. But probably the most important thing to do is to use cash for pretty much everything. Our entire financial lives, ranging from our credit scores to our bank accounts, are all interconnected. Credit reports, even though they don't list things like daily individual purchases, they can show any accounts and lines of credit that you've opened. So let's say that you lived in Florida and moved to Iowa to get away from some idiot. You think that you'll just go ahead and open a bank account and a credit card at some local little podunk bank. Well, unfortunately, if Mr. Turdsworth manages to get a hold of your credit report, it'll probably show that you have a credit card at Main Street Bank in Random Town, and then your cover is totally blown. With cash, though, this isn't a problem. That's part of the reason why there's such a huge push right now to move everything to digital currencies. The government and other interested parties can't keep track of it as easily. Unfortunately, though, you're gonna need a lot of it, so you'll probably have to plan your exit ahead of time. Large cash withdrawals draw attention, and your bank's probably going to have limits on how much you can take out at once. So because of that, you're going to want to take out a little bit each month, every couple of weeks, or at some other interval that seems normal. Another option could be to regularly get cash back when you're making purchases with your debit card, big box stores and stuff, provided that you can find a business that still actually does that. But eventually you will run out of your starter cash if you have to stay on the run for an extended period of time. And when that happens, you are going to need to get more. Getting a normal job, though, is going to be out. Even simple background checks will show your employment history for the past like 5 or 10 years. So you're going to have to get a little bit creative. If your new hometown has a local newspaper that has like help wanted ads or classifieds, then those can be decent options. You could do things like basic handyman services and odd jobs that pay cash and don't require any paperwork to set up and get going. You could also hang out with like the local day laborers and get picked up for jobs. Other options include things like seasonal farm work, getting paid under the table at a small family-owned business, cleaning, landscaping, or reselling items locally, like at small flea markets. They may not be the jobs that you're used to, but if you're willing to be a little flexible, then there are options out there. One big problem that you'll probably run into, though, is paying rent. Most places will want things like background checks and credit cards, especially if they're owned by a large national corporation or even a more established local property management group. You may be able to get around this, though, by renting from private landlords. I did this a couple of times towards the end of college. The houses were not great at all, but the rent was cheap. You may also be able to find some short-term options at places like RV parks and campgrounds. If your landlord needs a non-cash payment, then you can give them like a cashier's check. Some banks will allow non-customers to purchase them for an additional fee. Then if a place will accept something like a money order, then you can just get one of those at somewhere like a grocery store. But one of the most important decisions that you'll make is the location where you decide to hide out. Obviously, you don't want it to be somewhere familiar or anywhere that you have previous connections to. So stay away from the town that you went to college in or where your grandparents used to live. Instead, go somewhere that has no connection to your previous life. And you want this place to meet a few different criteria. First, you want it to be small enough that the job and housing markets aren't completely overrun by large corporations, but you don't want it to be so small that you're going to stick out as like the new guy in town, or it's so small that it has almost no economic activity. Also, avoid tourist locations. My wife and I ran into people we knew while on vacation literally 1,000 miles from home. If you live somewhere that people like to travel to, then you are going to run into somebody sooner or later. It's just going to happen. But mid-sized towns of around 25 to 75,000 folks are decent choices. In addition to jobs and housing, they're also likely to have some sort of public transportation. And also one that's located near an agricultural area may have more opportunities for cash paid day labor. And while you're in your new location, do whatever you can to blend in. Figure out how most of the people there act and dress, and then do the same. It'd also be a good idea to change your physical appearance from what you used to look like, but you do have to be reasonable with that. Like, changing your hairstyle is probably something that you do want to do, but it has to fit the baseline where you're living right then. Like getting purple highlights and gelling it up like you're some sort of peacock while you're trying to live in like Laramie, Wyoming is probably a really good way to stick out like a sore thumb. If you had short hair, grow it out a little bit. If it was long, cut it. If you didn't have facial hair, grow some out, unless of course you're a woman, because that would be a little bit noticeable. Also, follow the local baseline when it comes to behavior. Some areas are just naturally more friendly than others, and if you're overly standoffish, then you're going to stick out. Then, by the same token, if you go somewhere that's less social and then you try to be friendly, then that could backfire on you too. We had something like that happen to us on a trip a couple years back. I don't want to say exactly where we were since I'm not trying to like take a dump on an entire state, but I will say that we were somewhere in like the northwestern quadrant of the US. We were there for a wedding, and I noticed that somebody had dropped like a baby bottle or something along those lines on the floor. And I said, hey, just wanted to let you know that your bottle rolled under that church pew. And that person looked at me like I had a third eye growing out of my forehead. The people up there, from my perspective, were totally bizarre, and based on how they interacted with me and my family, it's very likely that they thought the exact same thing about us. Then, aside from blending into your new environment, you'll need to change other aspects of your behavior too, including your personal habits. We all have favorite foods and hobbies that we enjoy, but unfortunately, those could get us into big trouble. If I were to end up going on the run, I could never go into another Mexican restaurant ever again. I love Mexican food, and anyone who is actively trying to hunt me down would definitely take the time to figure out that I go get tacos at least a couple times a week. Then there are other types of businesses I like to go when I'm bored that I would probably stay away from. All this may seem paranoid, but if you're in a situation where you have to do all this mess, then you don't want your personal behavioral patterns to give someone something that they can use to make tracking you down a lot easier. Then another thing to think about after you disappear is situational awareness. While we should all always have at least some level of situational awareness, if you're trying to stay off of somebody's radar, it's going to need to be a lot higher than normal. You'll have to get very good at noticing patterns. Things like, did you notice the same car drive by where you're living or working multiple times? Is there some random dude hanging around your area more than they should be? Do you feel like you're being watched? Just as a general rule, if something feels off, trust your gut. Many times our subconscious survival instincts will pick up on things long before we can piece together what's going on in our mind. So don't ignore it. Leave the area and change your routine. Now, I know that this video was probably a little bit different than what I normally do here, but if you want to see defensive items that every prepper should have, then click here. Or if you want to see the items that preppers should buy before May 1st just to stay ahead of all the mess that's going on in the world right now, then click here. Thank y'all for stopping by. Y'all have a good one.